Good day, my schoolers. Welcome to my school channel. My name is Alexandra, and in this video we're going to be talking about narrative essay. Okay, so we'll learn what narrative essay is, we'll learn the key features of narrative essay, then we'll take a look at titles in narrative essay. Basically, we're going to be looking at how national examination presents narrative essay to us, and then we'll take a look at outlines in narrative essay, how to outline narrative essay, because narrative essay is quite different from other kinds of essay. It has this unique feature, which is the chronological order of events. So we're going to take a look at how to outline narrative essay, and lastly we'll reinstate the features of narrative essay by exploring two examples of narrative essay. So please stay with us, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to my school channel. So let's begin with the topic narrative essay. Like I said, okay, these are the objectives we'll be treating today: the meaning of narrative essay, the key features, titles of narrative essay, outline, and examples of narrative essay. So let's jump right into the first objective, which is the meaning of narrative essay. So number one definition, narrative essay tells a story. So narrative essay essentially tells a story about people, animals, doing something at some point in time or a place. So it's basically a story. Let's take a look at definition 2. Narrative essay involves the narration of an event or series of events in form of storytelling. Now you can see the concept of storytelling coming to place again in this second definition, and it involves narration of events or series of events in the form of storytelling. So this tells you that narrative essay is likened to telling stories. Now lastly, the aim is to create the right atmosphere and an experience for your readers. Okay, so the main purpose of a narrative essay is to share your story, and because you're sharing your story, you are creating an atmosphere for your readers to tap from your experience, to get your experience. Okay, so if you experience something bad, you should create that atmosphere where your readers will perceive that yes, you experienced something bad. If it's otherwise, if it is good, make sure you're writing for that particular purpose. Okay, you are creating that atmosphere to suit a good experience. So whatever experience you have, whatever atmosphere surrounds your experience, make sure you portray it accordingly, because we are going to share from your experience. So this is all you need to know about narrative essay. This is how to define narrative essay, and this is the best way to define narrative essay. So let's move to the next objective, which is the key features of narrative essay. Now, number one, it is non-fictional. Now, when we say non-fictional, what do we mean? Non-fictional is something that's based on personal experience. It is factual. It is something you've experienced, or someone close to you have experienced it and has told you about it. So it's based on personal experience. I can say 99% of it is based on personal experience, although writers have the privilege to tweak or change the characters, the name of people involved in the story or places, but still is based on past experience. Okay, and next is it involves elements of a story. What are the elements of a story? Plot. What is a plot? A plot is the arrangement of events, how certain things happen, the series of events. So that is your plot. Character. Your characters are the people or animals involved in your story that take action in your story. And next is theme. Theme is the message passed across, the message the writer is trying to pass across to you. Dialogue. Dialogue is the conversation between characters. We'll take a look at these examples as we move forward, the elements of plot rather as we move forward. Okay, conflict. Conflict is a struggle between two opposing forces. Let me give an example of that. If you're familiar with Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, there are several conflicts in that text. Let me give an example of one that I can remember: man versus inner soul. Man versus inner soul is man versus chi in the text, C-H-I. Okay, we see that Okonkwo constantly fights with his personality. He's at war with his personality, and that personality is the fear of failure. So Okonkwo is scared of failure, and so he does everything right, everything, so that it does not look like a failure to the people or to his community. So we also have the Igbo versus the Igbo culture versus Christianity, and we can see these two forces fighting in the text. Okay, so the white people brought their religion and expanded their religion, and it was successful, but it was against the Igbo culture. So that's an example of conflict. I will explore more as we move forward in this lesson. Though it is written in accordance with an essay structure. Do not forget, we talked about essay structure. It should have the introduction, the body, and then the conclusion. Even though your story, your narrative essay would have the elements of a story, it still maintains this essay structure, which is the introduction, the body, and conclusion. And we'll take a look at that as we proceed. Okay, so next is provides information in chronological order. Now, this reinstates plot. Plot is the arrangement of events in a chronological order. So when you're arranging it according to how it happened. According to how it happened, please take note. Because in the organization of narrative writing, okay, it has to be built around sequence of timing. The first happening, before the second one, then you have the third one, and it should be arranged chronologically, like how we have 1 to 10. You should have one event, then followed by 2, 3, 4, not 1, then putting 5, then just disorganizing your story, okay? So it should be arranged accordingly. Okay, so the next one is uses details to describe an event, person, or scene. Now, narrative essay also has the ability to describe things. Do not forget we spoke about descriptive essay, and if you want to catch up on descriptive essay, please check out my previous video. I've discussed descriptive essays. So, and also please check out writing process, where you get the structure of essay too. It will be helpful for this lesson too. Okay, so it has the ability to describe. So descriptive essay describes. Narrative essay also can describe, but the difference between the two is the degree, or what I would say the amount. So we have the description more in descriptive essay, unlike narrative essay. So the degree here is just minimal, okay? It's not as much as you have in a descriptive essay, but it also describes events, it also describes people, it also describes scenes, okay? Now, and lastly, narrative essay informs readers about something. Now, this is another big difference. It does not argue, it does not educate or teach, it does not necessarily show, it just informs because it tells us. It informs, okay? So, lastly, I would like to talk about the similarity between descriptive essay and narrative essay so that we can better distinguish both, okay? Because a lot of people struggle between differentiating between descriptive and narrative essay. Now, descriptive and narrative essay have the imaginary elements, but like I said, the degree is different. You have it more, the percentage is more in descriptive essay, but it is less in narrative essay. And next thing is it describes. Narrative essay description is not as much as descriptive essay. So that is the similarity it shares, but in a different degree or a different amount, okay? So when I say something is fictional, it is invented, why this is non-fiction. And you can see others here tells us that it is different from descriptive essay. Descriptive essay will paint a clear picture, will describe using beautiful language or using figurative language. So that's the difference between the descriptive and narrative essay. Now let's move to the next objective, which is titles in narrative essay. Now, how do we spot a narrative essay? Okay, in national exams, you will always find narrative essays in your questions, and you have to pick one or pick two, okay, but this is how it looks like. Okay, so you have the first one, which is just the title. I have written a discovery that changed my life. So you title it a discovery that changed my life. And in examination, you see it like this, write a story. So you can see the concept story here in the question. Write a story illustrating the saying, pride goes before a fall. So your title becomes Pride Goes Before a Fall. And you can see more examples. Write a story ending with the expression, we apologize to each other and reconcile. Your title becomes We Apologize to Each Other and Reconciled. Okay. Write a statement that ends with the statement, I wish that I listened to my parents. Write a story illustrating the statement, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Write a story that ends with better late than never. Write a story that ends with the statement, I had never felt so embarrassed in my life. So all of the expressions in inverted commas are your titles. Okay, so when you see questions like this, just know that they are narrative essays. And first thing first, before you pick a narrative essay or you select a narrative essay to write, please make sure you have passion for what you want to write. Make sure you have interest. And one of the things that drives your interest and passion is because of your personal experience. That is why I like to emphasize that narrative essay will be written beautifully when you have enough experience. You have experience on that title or based on that topic. Okay? So you pick the question, take a look at the title, see it's something that you can relate to, or maybe you have a friend that has a story surrounding that title. Please make sure you're writing based on experience, and that is what will increase the flow of what you can actually write down. Okay, I hope you understand my explanation. Now let's move to the next. The next thing we'll be doing is we're going to be outlining and at the same time taking a look at the samples. We're going to be using two examples. We're going to be using number 3 and we're going to be using number 4, but we'll start with outlining each of them before we look at the real life example of the narrative essay. So let's start with the first one, which is we apologize to each other and reconcile. Let's take a look at the outline, but before we do that, I have prepared a longer video that will cover all of that. So all you need to do is you click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the My School website. Then you'll be asked to subscribe. Please go ahead and subscribe so that you can enjoy the rest of today's lesson. Thank you for joining us. Do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly, tap on the bell notification to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.